Hello, everyone. My name is Chrissy Smith, and this is Nine Lives Energy, and together we energize your body from the inside out. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I'm so happy to be sharing the astrology with you and talking about how this eclipse in Aries that happened yesterday had a real Piscean influence. And we're going to be talking about that here in just a little bit. But before we get started, I just kind of want to share my story a little bit because I feel like sometimes when you share your personal story, that resonates with other people. I got into astrology about 2 years ago, and that is when the North Node went into Aries. And the nodes control the eclipses, and they are eclipsing things out of our lives so that new beginnings can come back in. And I also have my South Node in Aries with my sun. So basically, I'm trying to not be in Aries in this lifetime. And having your sun there, that's going to cause a little angst, I guess. And so I've had a lot of tension points in my life because if you aren't doing what you were supposed to be doing, and you have some of these astrological shifts, the universe and God have a tendency to put you back on the path that you were supposed to be on. And you might have a lot of challenges along the way, but through those challenges allows you to grow and be put more into alignment with what you are supposed to be doing. So this is why I have decided to go into astrology, because so much of it has helped me work on the things that I need to work on and have just become a much better version of myself through using astrology to help heal those parts of myself I didn't really want to take a look at. So hopefully you get something out of this and enjoy looking at your sign. So what are the eclipses? The eclipses, as I mentioned, are fated points of destiny, which govern not only the collective, all right, but they are personal to those wherever those transits are happening or in different parts of, I guess, your astrological wheel. If you are interested in learning any of this stuff, please wait till the end of the video. I will make sure to go over how to get in touch with me, and would love to share how some of this information could impact you more personally. And I mentioned earlier, if you are not in alignment, then you might be experiencing certain challenges to put you on the right path. And some of these challenges cost money, and some of these challenges cost relationships, and some of these challenges cost jobs, and some of these challenges cause places that you live, okay? So the solar eclipses that we see, the lunar eclipse is the one that we had last week. And a solar eclipse is when the moon goes in front of the sun and you see that ring around it. And so a lot of these energies can be felt for 1 year. It brings about new beginnings and opportunities. So I actually had a solar eclipse go over my sun sign, and the Great American Solar Eclipse happened on my birthday. And anybody that has a birthday 5 days before an eclipse or 5 days after an eclipse is within the orb of influence, and their whole life will be transformed for the next year. If you had told me that I was going to be doing astrology and things like that a year ago, I would have wanted that to happen, but maybe I didn't put all the energies into it that I needed to, because maybe I was working on other things in my life. And so the eclipse kind of closed those things out so I could be in a better position to do what it is that I'm doing now. So with the lunar eclipses, those energies can be felt for about 6 months, and they bring about not new beginnings, closing. Sorry, I have a typo there. Closing and challenges so that you can be put on the right way. So before we get into this just a little bit, understand that there are some transits that are happening right now. Even though we're talking about the Aries eclipse that has happened, a lot of Aries have felt this energy for the last 2 years. A lot of Libras have felt this for the last 2 years because the nodes, they move backwards on the astrological wheel. So Aries and Libras were highlighted for the last year and a half. I'm going to say 2 years because that's when I started feeling the energies. And when we have our very last eclipse that was yesterday in Aries, some of these energies are going to be felt for another year, especially if you are in Aries, or especially if you are a Libra, because of where these axes are. So some of the Libra themes are relationships, learning maybe who your open enemy is, closing that chapter. It could be relationships that we have with work as well, or maybe relationships that we have, with habits or routines that we have in our lives. And Aries is all about the self. And so there's a lot of people that were probably having opportunities to stand up for their identity, to stand up for being in leadership roles. And a lot of Aries were highlighted if they were possibly in a relationship that they didn't need to be in. Maybe that was closed out. Maybe an Aries had a job that closed out, and so now a new job is coming in. Or maybe they had a move. Anything that kind of challenged them to stand up into a different part of themselves. So if I'm talking to you, Aries, understand you're probably going to be highlighted maybe for another year since this last eclipse was in your sign. But Pisces is also going to be highlighted, and we're going to talk about that for just a second. So if we look at this chart right here, minus what I'm talking about with Aries, let me see if I can maybe make this a little bit bigger, if I can zoom in. Yes, here we go. Zooming in. So let me zoom in. Yes, here we go. I'm moving it over. All right, so right here, this is where the eclipse is going to be happening. And the reason that I put Aries here is because Aries rules the first house. Taurus rules the second house. So since this is happening in the sign of Aries, I'm going to put it as the rising sign. So if you do not know what your birth time is, it's okay. You can always look up when the sun was rising the day that you were born. Now, it's not going to be accurate as having your information, but we would know a lot about where the planets were on the day that you were born, maybe minus your moon, dependent on, because the moon moves pretty fast. So it can be within 2 zodiac signs in one day, because it moves around this zodiac wheel every 28 days. So there's a lot of planets and points in this particular house. And anytime you look at a chart and you see 3 or more planets or points within a given house, these are the houses, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12, and they are each ruled by a zodiac sign, and they are each ruled by a planetary ruler. So for the next year and a half, because the North Node, which was in Aries last year during that eclipse, this is why Aries were highlighted so much, but now the Pisces are being highlighted, but we still have to close out some of these stories that happened on the Libra and Aries axis. So there could be some more opportunities for you to step forward, Libra, because maybe you closed out some relationships that you had. Or there could be some more opportunities for people to stand up with the things that they've learned over the last year and a half, so that they can do what it is that they are called to do. But we're going to see even more of a rise in this, not just in Aries, but with the collective, because Neptune, which is about our dreams, and it is the last sign of the zodiac, and this Neptune here is getting ready to go into the sign of Aries. Now, Neptune takes a little bit longer to go around this astrology wheel compared to the moon, which is 28 days. It actually takes about 165 years. So some of these transits have not been seen since the 1860s. And I'm not going to go into all that, but you can look up things that happened in humanity whenever we were during that time, okay? And so let me zoom in just a little bit. It zoomed me back out. I thought it zoomed me back in. There we go. Let's come back over here for a second so we can see. So the North Node, that is the one that is controlling the eclipses for the next year and a half. So with that in mind, some of the things that are going to be coming forward are people connecting back to spirituality. People maybe breaking free from the things that maybe they were illusioned from, and maybe the things that they were illusioned from were the things that they saw on the screen. So Pisces controls screens. Pisces controls music. Pisces controls movies. Pisces is a very spiritual sign. But some of the adverse aspects of Pisces is, living in illusion and maybe living too much in the dream world. And so they don't want to stand up and take action. But what's going to be happening here for probably the next, I'm going to say year and a half, is people standing up and getting more into leadership roles in the opportunities of earning income in spirituality. So you might see a rise of people maybe going into the healing arts, maybe people going into the medical system and trying to fix some of those things that maybe don't work as well as we once thought that they did, okay? Because Pisces controls the medical institutions. Pisces controls mental institutions as well. So there could be a possible people having issues related to mental health because maybe they are being challenged to step into a different identity, maybe more of a leadership role. And sometimes people don't want to do that. And so if they don't want to do that, they could have some challenges coming up because they aren't doing what it is that they are supposed to be doing. And because this planet here, Neptune, has been in the sign of Pisces, the one that it rules for the last 14 years, think about all the things that have happened over the last 14 years. And that was 2012, when people kind of woke up. That was the first awakening. Remember when they said the Mayan calendar was 2012, the world was going to blow up and there was going to be this big shift. Well, that was the first, wave of people waking up. The next wave of people waking up was in 2012, and the next wave of people waking up, was 2020, and the next wave was 2024. So you're going to see even more people waking up to the things that maybe that they were illusioned by, maybe things that don't serve them anymore. They don't want that job. They don't want to do this. They are dealing with maybe some inner wounds that maybe they had. And as they let those go, they kind of step into more of a leadership role into what they are supposed to be doing. Health is going to be really highlighted for the next year and a half. Health is wealth, and people stepping into real deal healing modalities, stepping away from maybe the things that they thought were helping them and maybe taking these supplements that weren't helping them. Okay. So, this is going to be themes for the collective. So let's talk about what's going to be going on for Aries. And what I've done with each of these is the first house is ruled by Aries. And so these are some of the themes that are going to be going along. If you have maybe your sun here, all right, or if you are a rising Aries, or maybe you have your moon in Aries, all right. So the moon is how we express ourselves in this lifetime. If you have your sun in Aries, that would be your ego self. Right. And if you have your North Node in Aries, that would be who you are trying to be more like in this lifetime. And if you are a rising Aries, this is why I told you to put your birth chart in. Just type in astrological birth chart, type in what your birth chart is by putting in your information there. And again, if you don't know your birth time, you put the day the sun was rising, the day you were born. And that can give us a good indication of where the planets are. So some Aries themes that we are going to be seeing for the next year, okay, because remember, solar eclipses are influencing for a year, and lunar eclipses are influencing for 6 months, okay? So this is all the closing of the Aries and Libra stories. Anything that maybe you experienced over the last year, maybe you let something go, maybe you were kind of challenged with that recently, or maybe you might be challenged with that recently in the future so that you can really close that door, okay? Stepping into leadership roles, letting go of an old identity. Maybe the old identity is, I'm not a mom, but now I am a mom, okay? It doesn't have to be something so, this is what I'm doing for work. Trying to make sure that you are working practical steps to make your dreams come true, not just daydreaming with these Piscean influences, okay, because Neptune is getting ready to go into Aries for the next 14 years. And so there's no more daydreaming, okay? There's time to put action behind the things that you want to do, okay? So if you want to build your dream house, what steps are you doing in order to do that, okay? If you want a new job, what kind of things are you doing in order to make that happen? Are you just wishing upon a star? Trying to make sure that you are giving yourself opportunities to change, that you're not just escapism, because Pisces controls escapism, right? And not living in reality, being too much in the spiritual and not being in your grounded Aries energy. There's going to be a lot of Aries that are trying to work through subconscious patterns. And this is not only for you, but this is for the collective as well. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Mercury is in retrograde. Some people are more heavily influenced by those than others. Maybe I can put this down here. Yeah, there we go. No, it's not what I wanted to do. All right. It could be an awakening, right? A collective awakening where people break free from the illusions is what I mentioned earlier. So that is a theme not only for Aries, but for the collective as well. So if you are an Aries rising, or if you are an Aries sun, some astrological remedies could be listening to your intuition over the outside influences. Turn off the cell phone, okay? How many of us wake up in the morning and we look at our cell phone, or it's the last thing that we look at night? That's not good, not only for Aries, but for the collective, okay? That's listening to an outside influence. That's not listening to you. How many of us just go outside and sit for a minute before we go to sleep to kind of turn off the energy from the day? Not many of us. We're looking at our phones before we go to sleep. Spending time alone could help you a lot, because it could help you receive messages. So sitting outside alone or walking in nature definitely could help you. Being in some type of spiritual practice. Are you saying prayers when you go to sleep? Are you waking up with gratitude in the morning? Whatever your spiritual practice is, whether it's you going to church or whether you want to walk in the woods, okay? Making sure that you make time for that. That is important, because for the next 14 years, Neptune is going to be in the sign of Aries. So that needs to be a part of your body. Aries controls the body. That is your experience. Making sure that you drink water. Aries will burn out. Okay, so making sure that you are drinking a lot of water. That's all the fire signs. The fire signs like to go, 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 but this will prevent you from burning out. Gratitude practices and being in the present moment could definitely help you. Making sure that you're moving the energy around in a fun way, okay, a creative way. Maybe you want to feng shui your home. And the reason that I say that is because Mars, which is the planet of action, and Mars, which is the planetary ruler of Aries, is in the sign of home, is in the sign of Cancer. And it does not like to be there. So a way that we can kind of fix that is to do some action-oriented things around the home. Cleaning of the home, feng shuiing the home, getting the bad energy out so the good energy can come in. I know for me, when I did this, back in 2023, it definitely helped me a lot. And I highly recommend it. If you need help with feng shui, reach out to me. I also do know how to do that as well. Making sure that you have a routine around what you want your dreams and wishes to come true. We have a South Node right here, okay, which is the things that we're letting go of in the sign of our routines. So what things do we want to let go of so we can make time for our dreams and wishes? You're putting your dreams into practical movement. Make sure that you are also moving slower, Aries. I know we like to move fast. I know we like to talk fast. I know we like to go, go, go. Leo is like that too, okay? But Aries controls accidents, especially accidents maybe to do with the face, or accidents maybe to do with cars. So make sure that you are going slow and that you are taking your time. Mercury is in retrograde right now, which means it is not moving forward like the other planets. And so that controls our cars, that controls our gadgets. So just making sure that we save things, all right, and that we move slow and take our time. Much love to you, Aries. I'm an Aries sun, so I need to be doing all these things that I'm telling you to do as well. So if you want to know how this is going to affect you more personally, Aries, please make sure that you reach out to me. There is a link in the description box below, and I will put how to get in touch with me on my link tree, and you can make an appointment there. If you like this video, make sure that you like it. And if you share this video with somebody that you think can get something out of it, it does help the channel to grow and get the energy out there to those who need to hear it most. Thanks so much, Aries. I'm sending you so much love, and happy eclipse in your sign. Next, we move on to Taurus. And I have a lot of Taurus in my chart. And Taurus likes to move slow, but because I have so much Aries, I like to move fast. But again, as I mentioned earlier, I'm closing out some of those Aries themes, and I'm stepping into more of my Libran themes and more of my Taurus themes, which is ruled by Venus, and all things that are beautiful and the pleasures of life. But we have to keep in mind, Taurus, that we got to move. Taurus looks like and I love Taurus, all right, but it's kind of like they want to feel good in the body, okay? And however you want to feel good in the body is what you need to be doing. We need to put action behind it, not just sitting around and feeling good in the body, okay? So you are having this eclipse in your 12th house. And so the 12th house is governed by Pisces, all right? So you could have some introspection about the things that maybe you want to let go of, maybe some thought patterns that you have about yourself, or why is it that you believe what you believe? Is it because someone taught you that? Or is it because maybe it's a belief system that you have put within yourself? You're right, you got some transits going on right here. You got Mars in the house right here of mindset. What mindsets have you created within yourself about maybe the relationships that you have in your life, and how you connect with your spirituality, or how you connect with how you serve the community. And I'm talking about the community at large, not just within your community, because where this North Node is your far off distance places in the future, and how we service humanity. I would also say that maybe getting into astrology could possibly help you, simply because you got a stellium of planets here in the house, which does control astrology. And Taurus, you have Uranus, which is the planet that rules this 11th house in its most uncomfortable place. Okay, it does not like to be in Taurus, because Uranus is quick moving, fast energy in the future, and Taurus just wants to sit there and not move and be fixed. Okay, but Aquarius is like, it's time to move, it's time to get action. And so Uranus is telling you to do that, and it is giving you the energy to do that right here, as it makes a sextile to this transit here up in your 11th house of change. So letting go of belief patterns of what I was talking about, making sure that, like I told Aries earlier, not escaping, okay, because we don't want to change our beliefs or going back into these old outdated patterns that no longer serve us, okay? Getting rid of any hidden fears that you have about limiting beliefs. Those things could be coming to the surface for you to deal with, okay? You could also be having any heightened intuitive abilities. So if you were doing any type of escapism, whether it's drinking too much or smoking too much, it could hinder you from being able to get the downloads that you need. So spending time in nature could definitely help you do that. Exercising in nature, okay, being out in nature, Taurus, would definitely serve you a lot. There could be some realizations about attachments that you have, maybe to addictions. And then I would also highly recommend trying to get into a deeper spiritual practice, whatever that is. And I said that to the Aries, and I'm also saying that to you as well, because this eclipse is happening in Aries, but it's happening in your 12th house, which rules all these things, these Piscean themes that are trying to just help you be a little bit more spiritual. All right. Routines around meditation or walking in nature could help you. You don't have to just sit and meditate. That never worked for me, Taurus. I have a lot of Taurus in my chart. I have to be active in nature, and that helps me out a lot. Maybe looking for the answers that you want for a new career could come from doing some of these meditative practices. using intuition to build something. So like if something bothers you, Taurus, create something, build something. You are the builders of the zodiac. Okay. So it would be very good time for you to be in a creative state and make something. And you also could possibly make money doing that as well, because you have Jupiter in your second house, and that is the house of resources. So maybe building something and promoting it out in the community or even online. Listening to sound healing music could help you. That definitely helps ground me. And it takes me to all these spiritual places in my mind, and I get a lot of downloads or prayers answers or intuitive insights when I do sound healing. I just got through with a sound healing. Shout out to Soul Sisters in Kernersville. I took my big peep up there. His name is Sonny. Shannon, the owner of this amazing business in Kernersville, named him. So she definitely has helped me reach into my Taurus self. So shout out to her and another spiritual bestie who I want to give a shout out to, who owns Holistic Awakenings. And her name is Madison, and she was there doing Reiki treatments while the sound healing was going on. And folks, it was so amazing. I mean, I literally cried twice during that event, because I felt a release there, and the energy between them two doing the sound healing and the Reiki treatment was absolutely amazing. So make sure that you check her out. She always does a donation-based sound bath once a month. So check out Soul Sisters. I'll leave a link to both of those ladies in the description box below when I finish this video. So taking opportunities to be with a like-minded community. That was my like-minded community, right? And I was moving the energy around in a creative way. I wasn't just sitting here, all right, dealing with some of these transits that are hitting me pretty hard right now, right? It's uncomfortable to be out here on YouTube doing this live video, but I'm doing it because I feel like this is what I'm being led to do, and it's made such an impact in my life, and I want to be able to help others. All right, so if you got something out of this video, Taurus, make sure that you like it. Leave a comment possibly of maybe how you've changed recently, or maybe some things that you would like to change in the next year and a half, because I know we're fixed in our energy, but what's something that you would like to let go of so that you can be more healthy in your body? All right, make sure that you let me know how you're doing, Taurus, and I hope that the next year treats you well with this astrological transit in your 12th house of Pisces. Thanks for watching. All right, Gemini, you are up next. So Gemini, you have magical, abundant Jupiter in your house of you right now. So I know that some of these transits probably have been uncomfortable recently for you, and Jupiter hasn't given you all these blessings, or if you're having a Jupiter return, it may not be giving you all the blessings yet, just because we've had some funky stuff going on with some of the malefic planets of Mars not being where he likes to be. We've also had some squares with Saturn, which also is here to teach us lessons. So yeah, you haven't had all this luck and abundance, but it's coming. Okay. So it's coming to you before the summer and into the summer. So just be on the lookout for that. But this eclipse is highlighting your 11th house, which is about giving back to humanity and we the people, and technology and service to humanity. Okay, so you could be having some new friendships coming in which align with your new identity. You could be pioneering some ways on how to be of service. Be on the lookout for watching out for being the leader when you probably need to follow and learn. Okay, Gemini loves to talk real fast, right? And maybe control conversations, but just make sure that you take a minute to listen to what other people are also saying too. We learn a lot more when we listen versus when we are talking. Okay, so make sure that it's a give and take balance, Gemini. There's two of you, not just one talking. It's a communication between two people. Okay. You could have some opportunities to speak the truth or stand up for yourself out in the community. There could be some wounds coming up to the surface around standing up for yourself in a business or in groups. So if that scares you, you might want to maybe do some behind the scenes work of working on how it is that you communicate. Do we communicate too fast? Do we let other people talk over us? Do we talk over other people? And maybe taking some type of communications class that could help you with that. Breath work. This is for all the air signs, or if you have your north node or a lot of planets or points in one of the air signs. So the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Okay. So that could help you ground your energy. And there's so much electrical energy going on. And this Aries eclipse is happening in the sign of, or in the house of, Aquarius, which is very electric in nature. So standing outside with your feet in the grass could help offset this a lot, because you also have Uranus here, which is the planet of electricity, in the grounded sign of Uranus, where it does not like to be. So getting rid of some of that electro energy and being able to magnetize yourself in a different way with the earth could be beneficial to you. Aligning yourself with like-minded people to help you accomplish your goals. You want to reach for your dreams, Gemini, okay? But again, we've got to have some practicality around it and aligning ourselves with people that you want to learn from. Gemini loves to learn new things, all right? So let's make sure that we're aligning ourselves with people that we want to learn from or people that we want to learn with. This could be a great time for you to develop some type of dream career and aligning yourself with people like that. Investing in your education around doing what you love, I think definitely would help you. You got Saturn up here, which is the ruler of the 10th house. You've got the North Node here. And also you have Pisces here, not Pisces here, but Uranus here, which is the sign of our dreams. And we have Venus here, which is this planet of the things that we love. All right. So putting the things that we love and our dreams into some type of career, because this is given a nice trine to Mars, the planet of action, in our house of resources. Okay. So resources could be coming to you, but you got to do the work. You got to do the work. Okay. Finding new ways to enjoy work, intuitively working, watching out for any hasty decisions about spending money. All right, spend the money on education, but think about it, okay? If it's something that maybe is going to be saving you 50% and you have a week to think about it, you wait until that week is over so you can save the 50%. You don't need to buy it right now, okay? And avoid making decisions about emotionally charged purchases, okay? If you probably or got a fight with your boyfriend and you're like, well, I need to go on this trip, all right? And it's $3,000, but I don't have it right now. I'm gonna put it on a credit card. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Think about it first, okay? Find ways that you could get that same thing by maybe doing some of the work yourself, okay? And slow down on that communication. All right, Gemini, if you got anything out of this, make sure that you like that video. Comment below if this resonates with you. And if you're interested in getting a personal reading, make sure that you check out my information in the description box below so that you can get your reading with me. Good luck, Gemini, with this astrological transit happening in your 11th house. All right, Cancer. You are going to be having this in your 10th house, which is the house of Capricorn themes. All right. And you've got the sun there and the moon there, eclipsing maybe things out of work that no longer serve. All right. Or giving you the opportunity to transform your career. Okay. So aligning yourself with people who are pioneers in the field. Aries is pioneers. Maybe you are the one, Cancer, who is supposed to be starting some type of pioneering healing business, okay? That could be very beneficial to you. So look for new ways that you can lead in business or maybe get your ideas out there, working with others. You know, you have, where's Jupiter right here? All right, is in the 12th house of spirituality. So maybe working with some spiritual teachers in order to help you get that business that you are wanting, to where you are communicating whatever it is that you feel like is giving you action. right? In business, whatever that is. All right. Whether it's I'm going to start a spiritual business, or whether it is I'm going to start this new exercise walking club at work. Okay. That would be good for you too, Cancer. Working on some type of foundation for your career that is emotionally satisfying, because you got the moon up here. That is your chart ruler. Wherever the moon is, you need to be paying attention, Cancer. Just like Aries needs to be paying attention to where Mars is. That's why I told Aries to be paying attention to that. But guess what? You're not out of the woods either, because you've got Mars, the planet of action, in your sign in the first house of identity. So what this means is there could be a change of an identity at work, or how work sees you, or getting opportunities at work, which could help catapult you into doing something that maybe is spiritual in nature. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because you've got Pisces in the 9th house of learning new things, of distance travel, spirituality, connection to God, learning higher mind things, travel. Okay. Things that can help you during this time, Cancer, is learning about a new spiritual topic. All right. Spirituality rules your 9th house of higher mind learning. Visiting a place that maybe you've dreamed of, or maybe a place that just gives you inspiration and creativity. You know what that place is. Okay. Go visit that place. Being active when you wake up. You've got Mars in your first house. Being active when you wake up. I mean, I hate to say this, guys, but if Mars is here, you could be wanting to have sex in the morning, because Mars in the first house, okay, is sexy time. That's exercise too. But we also want to be moving our body in an independent way, okay? Because Mars is the planet of independence and action, not being with others. So, trying to do stuff while you're exercising, maybe outside or in the water, or maybe drinking water or walking around water, could help give you the downloads that you're looking for about what it is I'm supposed to be doing with work. Walking outside of nature, I just mentioned that. Being in a like-minded community in order to clear your mind of any self-doubt, okay? Because you've got the South Node here, and this is in Virgo. So you could be eliminating any routines around any mindset challenges that you have about thinking that maybe you aren't good enough when you are good enough, because maybe you're destined to be doing something else, like maybe being a spiritual teacher, because this is spirituality and this is higher mind learning, and Aries is the teacher. All right. So you could be getting some hidden monies coming in from there, or a rebirth of yourself in order to give you the new identity that you're looking for. All right, Cancer, if this resonated with you, make sure that you comment below that it did. Make sure that you give this a thumbs up, because it helps the channel spread to those who need it most. And if you're interested in a personal astrology forecast concerning your health, make sure that you reach out to me in the description box below with an appointment, and I'd love to meet you in person or online. You stay magical, Cancer. Leo, I have a lot of things going on in Leo in my chart too. Leo, how are you doing out there? Guess what? We're going to feel probably a little bit better once this planet of action steps out of this planet of our subconscious patterns and moves into the sister sign of Leo. Now, the sun is exalted in Aries, right? So even though the sun rules Leo, it is exalted in Aries, all right? And this is the planet of action. So people could be experiencing learning new subjects. And I mentioned that to the Cancers because they have Pisces here, okay? But you need to make sure that you are emotionally connected to what you want to learn, because you got the moon right here. Whatever it is needs to make you happy, because if it does make you happy, it could bring you a lot of abundance to your life. And I'm not just saying in the form of money, but in the form of friendships, in the form of maybe resources and friendships, and being a part of the community in a global way. If you change your career, All right. And you do something around maybe possible spirituality, because that could maybe bring you resources. All right. Stepping into a teacher role or any type of leadership role, because Aries is the leader. Aries is our warriorship and stepping into our independence and having people look at us. I have my son in this house here. So guess what I have done for most of my life? I was a leader in personal training and health and fitness. Aries rules the body. I was a leader in personal training and group fitness, and even taught health and fitness at higher education. This is the house of higher education. All right. So guess what, Leo? You are stepping into that role, communicating with the higher realms. And I see you being able to do this because Mars in Cancer is one of the most spiritual placements. And you are getting a trine here with Pisces, the ruler of the 12th house. But look at all those planets going in there. So going deep within the self to do some real deep healing, maybe around wounds that you have. Or learning how to do some of this spiritual work so that you can help others evolve as well on their spiritual journey. You could also be learning from a spiritual teacher on how to develop your gifts and skills and abilities even further than what they already are right now. So astrological remedies for you, Leo, is listening to your intuition. And I'm telling this to a lot of the signs right now, just because a lot are affected this way. Because we want to make sure that we're listening to our own intuition and not listening to all these other bunch of things, but especially around career, because you have definitely had some career issues probably over the last, I'm going to say 5 to 6 years, because Uranus has been here and it spends about 7 years in each zodiac sign. So you could have had some tension about, well, is this the career that I want? Or is this the career that I want? So maybe you tried some different things, but what is working now is what you need to be focusing on. So work for ways, if you have gone through a transformation recently or over the last 2 years or last 5 years, whatever the transformation has been, okay, what have you learned? And how can you help others be able to do the same? Okay, because I feel like it's important to you to help others by living in your truth and then from your heart. That inspires other people to do that as well. So just keep working on those spiritual gifts that helped you transform. So for me, working on astrology helped me transform. So therefore, I want to teach other people how to be astrologers or to heal themselves through astrology. Continue to organize what it is that you value, because you've got the South Node here. So you probably have cleaned up some things that maybe you were spending money on, or some things that you valued that you no longer value. So there's still going to be some cleaning up with that for the next year and a half. And just being in like-minded community so that you can help build what it is that you want for the future. I also see some letting go of addictions, because the 12th house controls addictions and escapism, and the 8th house is the things that addictions too, okay? And so you've got a trine doesn't always mean good, okay? A trine can mean maybe some bad things. So making sure that we're not living in our addictions and that we're trying to heal through some of those, okay? And if you do slip, you know, it's okay. Just what matters most, okay, is how much you have changed. All right. So if you have a slip up once a month, or if you have a slip up and you were doing good for 3 years, understand it's going to happen. Are you just going to say, well, I got to start over? No, you're going to be like, well, hey, I did good for 3 years and I slipped a little bit. So you know what? Back on the wagon tomorrow. Okay. Sometimes the way that we learn is through the lessons that we have. Okay. So if you got something out of this, Leo, make sure that you like it and comment below if this resonated with you. Make sure that you look at the description box below if you'd like to make a personal appointment with me. And I look forward to seeing you then, Leo. You stay magical and keep living with your authentic heart. People need you for the next 20 years with some of this stuff that's going on with Pluto across from your sign. So stay happy. People are looking up to you to lead them. All right. Thanks, Leo. All right, Virgo. How are you doing? Because I will tell you what, you are having this eclipse in your 8th house of transformation. And some of the things that Virgo likes to do is to control things or hold on to things. And, you know, all of the signs we have adverse parts of ourselves, right? And so we don't want to just think about all the good things that a sign does, which is true. We want to also make sure that we're doing good. We're working on the parts that, are adverse as well. I'm an Aries. One of the things that Aries likes to do is to make hasty decisions. So I'm having to learn how to go slow. Okay. All right, Virgo. So, for the next year, right? And I'm going to say year and a half, okay? Because you've got the South Node in your sign, which is letting go of things which no longer serve. And I have had this transit in my sign of Libra for the last year and a half. And I had a lot of letting go of relationships and things which no longer served. And so it's not an easy transit, but you're going to do fine. And because you control health, I think you're going to be doing better than most. But we have to make sure that we are allowing ourselves to transform and not try to control the process. Okay, so letting go of habits and addictions. It could be an addiction of control. It could be an addiction of maybe too much social media, maybe too much. Maybe you need to get organized, Virgo. You control organization, but in the adverse aspects, Virgo can, collect a lot of things. There could be some emerging of relationships or maybe an identity transformation. There may be some wounds around your identity coming to the surface. So, if a relationship ends or a job, lets go, or maybe, there was a change in where you live, and maybe you had some type of financial issue that caused you to be somebody else. Okay. These are things that could be coming up because where the transformation occurs, all right, is going to help you transform into what it is that you are supposed to be doing. Okay. Transformation isn't always easy, Virgo, but I know you can do it. All right. If we think about the butterfly was a caterpillar at first, but now it's a butterfly. So look at that beautiful creature that came from the transformation. Making time to process what you are going through. I mean, you might need to speak to somebody who is a spiritual healer, right? We've got the sign of spirituality here in the 7th house, which is our relationships. And maybe this relationship that you end up getting helps you learn what identity that you are supposed to be being. Okay. Now, this could be maybe that you have a job in the hospital, but maybe now you have learned how to do Reiki in the hospital, and now you want to do that full time. That is a transformation. You're still healing people, Virgo, but you're healing people in a different way. Okay. There could also be a change in your money. And the reason that I'm saying that is because this is hidden monies. So there could be opportunities for you to get more income coming in if you transform what you're trying to do, or maybe transform your spending habits. Okay. Maybe that's what you're transforming. There could be, you could definitely get some benefit out of getting some self-help around addictive behaviors, maybe picking up some type of boxing routine. That could be good for you because Aries is the planet of war and action and boxing in the sister sign of house of Scorpio, which also is the traditional ruler of Mars. So Mars is up here in your 11th house of being in the community. So maybe you could be traveling to some far off distance places in order to get maybe the healing that you need. All right. Doing self-work around your identity. Why are you doing this job that you are doing now? Okay. Maybe you need to be doing something else. I think because you are an earth sign, you could definitely get some balance in nature because you've got Uranus here, okay, which is the disrupting planet. In order to offset that with your earthy energy, Virgo, we need to make sure that we are spending time in nature and grounding our energy and not living in our shadow selves, okay? Cleaning and organized can definitely help you with this process, moving the energy around in a healthy way. Going outside in nature, walking is helping, or hiking would be good for you as well. Doing something different, okay? Because this is the planet of, this is the, I'm sorry, I had a brain freeze for a minute. The house which controls being around other people and in a group setting. So it could be beneficial to you to maybe possibly do something different and unique and weird. You may like it instead of standing over there in the corner and being like, this is stupid and I'm not going to get anything out of it. Okay. So definitely working with other people. Maybe finding somebody that already is in that's one of your friends that's kind of weird. So doing something that's weird and unusual with them could kind of help you get over some of these control issues. Sound healing definitely would be good for you as well, because you've got a lot of planets here in the house of music, and Libra also controls music, and this is the house which controls the 7th house, and you've got a stellium of planets there, which are Piscean. And so that could help you kind of release some of these energies, or even making music, Virgo. Okay. All right. Let me know if you got something out of it. If you did, make sure that you comment how it helped you. Make sure that you like this video. And if you'd like a personal appointment, please see the link in the description box below. Thanks so much. All right, Libra, we got just a little bit more action headed your way. But these are opportunities that are coming your way because of the work that hopefully you've done over the last 2 years. And I know it hasn't been easy. Virgos are going through it now, but understand all of this is giving you opportunities to set you up for what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Okay. So there is the closing of any stories that have been, around in your life for the last 2 years. Okay. Libra, you control balance. But there is nothing that is more unsexy than an unbalanced Libra. And what I mean by that is not living with what you need to be doing, okay? And doing what everybody else wants to be doing. That's not balance, okay? Also, you could possibly, and I'm not pointing fingers or anything like that, but maybe have escapism type tendencies where you are the person that you want to be, whether that's by drinking or maybe partying too much, or maybe escapism by watching too much television or too much social media, or maybe a sex addiction or something like that. So making sure that we're not living in what we're supposed to be doing, because if you do, then it could cause you to be off balance and be living in extremes. And you just went through that story of closing some of those things out. So let's make sure that whatever we might have addictions to, okay, that we are forgiving ourselves for maybe past mistakes that we've had, and learning to where we are not giving our power away in relationships. Okay. And that if we are giving our power away, then we need to kind of close out that relationship and be mindful of, this is the boundary that I have. And because I have this boundary, I'm not going to be accepting any less than in a relationship, because this is how I treat myself. So if you treat yourself poorly, Libra, you're going to get another story of people also treating you poorly or having poor type of experiences. All right. We don't want that. You're here to have relationships. You're here to be in balance. So how are you going to do that? Okay. You could be attracting Aries type people in your life, which help you be more assertive. There could be possible breakups in relationships because you stood up for yourself. Air signs, Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. Okay. You have got to do breath work, breathing. And exhale. That could be a way that you start your morning, is by doing something like that. That would be very good for you. Or maybe doing some type of spiritual practice, because you've got the stellium of planets in Pisces. Okay. Spirituality in the house of routine, making it a routine to do something that's music related or something that is spiritual in nature. Okay. Making time for any type of creative pursuits around music, or maybe having a resurgence of something that you used to do that brought you happiness. You could be out in the community to show off your new appearance. So if you have some type of aesthetic that, is new, maybe you want to put that forward. Okay. Because Aries is stepping forward and identity and self. So how do you want to look to others? All right. There could be a change in how you are perceived by others. Forgiveness of yourself. Libra is forgiveness, the balancing of the scales. And so if you forgive yourself, then you are going to be more able to get the things that you want into your life, because there's room for it to sit now. All right. You don't have all this bunch of clutter of I'm holding on to this because I can't forgive myself because of that. No, you've let that go. It's time to put some new stuff on there. Okay. You've got to learn how to make decisions, little steps, Libra. I don't care if it's you go out with a friend and the friend says, I don't know where I want to go to eat. And you're like, well, whatever you want to do. No, say, I want to do this, and this is what I'm doing. All right. And make sure that you are just trying to move a little bit slower at work. Aries controls accidents, and I don't want you to have an accident at work. Okay. And I don't want you to have an accident in a relationship either. So make sure that we're slowing down the way that also we communicate, because you've got Gemini, which is the sign of communication. And that is also have Jupiter there. So you could be communicating really fast, or maybe you could be learning something really fast or moving really fast. So make sure that we kind of slow down so that we can get all the information, or that we don't have an accident. All right. If you got something out of this, Libra, make sure that you like this video, and that if you comment below, tell me how you're doing over that last transit with the South Node in your sign. Aries and Libra, we're going through it. Got a little bit more cleaning up to do, but I think that you're going to have a little bit more fun in the next little bit. Okay. All right. Sending good energy out to you, Libras. Scorpio. Hello, Scorpio. That is my fellow sister sign. So, Scorpio, you are ruled by two planets. In traditional rulership, you are ruled by Mars. All right. So Mars is in the sign of learning something new. So you could be learning something new around maybe something that you want to create. Right? Maybe something that you want to create as part of maybe a routine, maybe a new spiritual practice that you want to create. Okay, so wherever Mars goes, you need to be paying attention. This right here could also bring you a little bit of money. All right, and the reason I'm saying that is because it's at 22 degrees, and 22 degrees is a career degree as well. There could be a letting go of maybe some friendships that you have that don't allow you to be as spiritual as probably you need to be at this time. Okay. So a way that you can maybe get rid of some of these energies or kind of balance it is just to get organized. Okay. You can organize a closet. Virgo is letting go of, the things that, and organization. Okay. And also being out in the community and our health, leading people by example. Okay. Aries is our leadership. And so you want to be able to lead people by example with your routine. If you want other people to be healthy in the community, then you also need to be healthy in the community. You could be getting a new pet, or maybe there's a new pet routine that you have. There could be a new way that you communicate in work. Health of the body. You really, this would be an excellent time to start thinking about what it is that you do for your health in the body. Okay, Scorpio? Detoxification could be a good way for you to do something like once a month that resonates with you, whether it's I'm not going to use the phone today, or I'm not going to drink this soda or whatever for a week. Whatever it is, like try to get into some type of health practice that you know is good for you. Taking breaks from the screens, because Pisces controls movies, and Pisces controls illusions. And if you're looking at too much stuff from the outside world to help you get entertainment, then you're not going to get the downloads that you need, because you're too distracted by the outside world and you're not focusing on the information that could be coming from you from higher mind practices. Okay. You could possibly dive into communicating with animals. So that's something that you might want to think about doing. And the reason that I say that is you've got Jupiter here, and this is in the sign of communication in the 8th house, which is what you rule. Okay, 8th house ruler. And that is communicating in a hidden way. And you have all this stuff going on in the house of pets and identity. Okay. So yeah, try to think about maybe doing something like that. I know that that sounds a little weird, but then we do have Reiki that works on animals, and they see a lot of benefit from that. I have a couple of friends of mine that do that type of work. So maybe getting into some type of spiritual fun practice, maybe working with Reiki on animals is fun to you. Being active in the body, we mentioned that, trying to get a new exercise routine. Boxing would be good for you. I mentioned this to another zodiac sign. I want to say it was Virgo. And maybe getting into a new skincare routine, okay? Because Aries rules the face. You got all these planets and points in here for Aries, which rules the face. And that could be maybe how you detox yourself, all right? Or maybe something that you do to show yourself self-love. And try to have fun, maybe in the water. And again, these themes are for the next year. So maybe doing things around the water, or dancing in the water, or dancing to music and moving your body around as if how water would go. All right. If any of this resonates with you, make sure that you comment below on how it did and give this a thumbs up so the information can get out there to those that need it most. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you get the notifications whenever I post new content. And if you would like a personal reading with me, make sure that you check out the description box below, and so you can make that appointment with me. Good luck, Scorpio. I love this for you because you got all this stuff in the house of fun. All right. But let's have fun with our routines. All right. Thanks so much, Scorpio. Sagittarius, another fire sign. All right. You, like the Scorpios, are having a lot of fun, all right, in the 5th house. So the 5th house is having fun, entertainment, and being sexy again, okay? And maybe you've had some things going on recently that maybe didn't make you feel so sexy, but it's coming back, okay? Because you have got Mars in the 8th house where it likes to be, all right, along with the 1st house, and that is being sexy. Okay, because the 8th house is our sexiness. And then you have this eclipse happening in the 5th house as well. So if you aren't wanting to have children, you might want to make sure that, you're making those protective measures, because this could be a good time for you to create something new, maybe not a person, but maybe some type of something that you love. Okay. So maybe having fun showing off your new identity, okay? Or maybe going into creative pursuits that are emotionally satisfying for you, because you've got the moon here, and that is our emotions. And so you're being highlighted with making sure that you are doing things that make you feel fun and are emotionally satisfying to you, whether it's creating dance or maybe being around children, creating art of any kind, okay? And maybe being a leader or a coach or a dance teacher of some kind. This is also highlighting opportunities for you to maybe heal some inner child wounds that maybe you've been holding on to, and maybe being courageous with yourself in order to deal with that so that you can be lighter. Okay. Sagittarius is light, and it likes to travel and move around. And if we're holding on a bunch of baggage from things that happened in our childhood, we can't be light. We can't be our fun, fairy energy selves. Okay. So making time to face some of those inner wounds that you may have, and be outside in the sun. That's your life force. It is the fire signs, okay? And that can be giving you the boost of energy that maybe you need to kind of help you until your season comes in November, okay? Now, it could be beneficial to you to share your story online if you've had a transformation. And the reason that I'm saying this is because you've got Pluto here, which is the planet of death and rebirth and transformation. And you've got that in the house of communication at 3 degrees and doing it in an Aquarian way. And look at all that. You've got that sextile giving you an identity. Maybe your new identity is doing something creative online. Okay. If that resonates, great. Or maybe just sharing your story with another person. It doesn't have to be online, but it could bring you some resources if you do that. The resources, not just in the form of money, but resources in the forms of just knowing new other people, Okay, because you've got Jupiter here that's blessing your house of relationships right now. What type of relationships do you want to have come in? All right. Creating choreography will be very good for you at this time. Letting go of any painful childhood memories and forgiving those people that possibly hurt us, that maybe were even in our family, because Gemini is brothers and sisters. Okay. That could be of great resource to you. And also doing some type of spiritual cleanse of the home. You have all this Piscean energy right here in the house of home. All right. And so if you are interested in doing feng shui, reach out to me. I do feng shui appointments with it, showing you how to maybe possibly put your birth chart on your house or a birth chart in your bedroom. And that way, if you are aligned with whatever your birth chart is, the energies coming in definitely are going to get faster and faster and faster for you. So hang on to your seats, okay? If you do feng shui. I'm not saying some of those things are fun, you know, that we let go of, but it does help us to feel lighter and just have more fun. Being outside in nature can definitely help you get your spiritual downloads that you need. So I hope that you make time for that. And the reason that I'm saying that is because you've got Taurus here in the sign of routines. So doing something outside in nature could definitely help you with your health at this time. All right. If you got something out of this, Sagittarius, make sure that you like this video and comment below if any of this resonates with you. And I look forward to seeing what you write below. But before I let you go, there could be just a little bit of challenges about work. So there could be a letting go of maybe some old routines at work. And how do you want to be fun and innovative and creative in work to have more fun? Okay. All right, Sagittarius, that's all I got for you. And if you'd like a personal appointment, see the information in the description box below. You stay magical. All right, Capricorn. Woo! How are you doing after the last 16 years of Pluto out of your sign that is now in Aquarius, which is right beside you? So hopefully you are feeling a little bit lighter and more energized. But I love this for you because I have a friend of mine who's a Capricorn, and I'm seeing all the fiery energy that she's putting around her home at this time with some plants. And I'm so excited for her because guess what? You have this transit happening in your house of home. So you could be getting a new home, or you could be cleaning the home, or you could be having home projects, right? Or a new beginning of your foundation of life. But your new foundation of life definitely needs to be emotionally fulfilling to you. You've got the moon here in its home house of Cancer here. So this could be affecting you just a little bit more personally than the other signs. A good way for you to deal with some of these astrological energies is doing spring cleaning or letting things go that no longer serve you, especially things around your mind. Okay. And the subconscious patterns, because this is our subconscious, all these planets here giving energy to themes around our mind. Okay. So a way for you to kind of deal with some of this is to clean the home, clean the mindset, getting rid of anything that maybe we were illusioned by. Okay. You could also have some opportunities to heal wounds around your identity that may be stemmed from your upbringing. So you were supposed to be this certain person, and maybe that certain person changed, or maybe living in that certain identity was not fulfilling to you. So you had a breakdown over the last 16 years in order to have the breakthrough so you could do what it is that you were called to do. Folks, if it ain't making you happy, you got to leave. I don't care if it's a relationship. I don't care if it's a job. I don't care if, you know, you need to check yourself and be like, you know what? No wonder I can't lose weight. Look at what my, you know, routines are like. There's going to be some things around that. Okay. So you are being blessed right now. You got Jupiter in your house of routines. So what do you want your routines to look like? Okay. Think about that. Note, if you want your routines to involve things that make you happy at work, then that's what we need to be working on, is making sure that we're happy at work. If you're in a job you don't like, get out. You know, or if you spent your whole life learning this one thing, but you're like, this doesn't make me happy anymore, now's the time to maybe possibly learn something new. Okay. So there's some astrological remedies. Is why do you believe what you believe? Okay. Was it something that was instilled in you at home around your mindset? Letting go of any illusory stories about not being good enough, or I have to have this job because this is what's paying the bills, or I have to do this because. No more of that. Okay. Spending time in nature or around things outside, or doing home projects in quiet, not listening to music, but just listening to your inner thoughts, could give you the realizations that you're looking for. We also need to be rational about how we use our resources, okay? Because you've got the planet here that is going to be in your house of resources for the next 20 years. And you could be having a death and rebirth of your resources. So if you are using your resources not in a good way or an illusory way, all right, because you feel like you have matter over mind, we don't want that, all right? We want mind over matter. How are we using our resources? Watch out for escapism as well, because you could still be in the fog of Pluto leaving your sign, and so you don't know how to deal with that. And so maybe your way of dealing with some of those issues was to escape. And, you know, I don't know what that means for you. It could be that I was drinking, or it could mean I was watching too much television, or smoking too much, or doing whatever too much, okay? Just kind of watch out for that, okay? Because you need to be looking at your health for the next year and a half. That's going to be highlighted for the collective. And making sure that you're putting action behind making your dreams come true, especially when it's creating income. You are being blessed in order to have a rebirth, but, you know, we don't want to be living in our addictions, okay? Because Pluto could be addictions or things hidden beneath the surface that we don't want people to know about. We don't want people to know that we have this bad relationship with money, okay? But on a good note, you know, I'm happy that you guys are going to be, you know, getting some new possibilities at home. Yes. All right. If you got something out of this, Capricorn, make sure that you like it. Leave a comment below. If the last 16 years with you was challenging, and hopefully that rebirth opportunity is going to be coming for you in the next 20 years or so. Thanks so much, Capricorn. Sending you much love in this new Aries eclipse. Woohoo! Stay magical. Aquarius, how are you doing with Pluto going into your sign for the next 16 to 20 years? Just ask Capricorn. It was a lot, but this is a little bit lighter of an energy, okay? And just with some other stuff that's going on as well. So it's real important for you to make sure that you're spending time in nature, because there is so much electrical energy going on that if you don't feel good and you feel off, or you're crying, or you just can't calm down, or anxious, or just in a brain fog, you're getting too much electrical energy. You got to go outside in nature. You got to put your feet in the grass. You got to hold a tree or something. Okay. Some Gemini themes, you're having this in your third house. So maybe possibly talking to someone about issues with your siblings could be coming up to the surface for you to deal with, or maybe doing things with the siblings, maybe taking action with your siblings. How you identify yourself in the community. All right. Sorry, guys, I got a train coming by. I don't know if you can hear it or not. And I got the window opening up. Whenever I hear the train come by, I always think that's what I'm supposed to be saying. That's what I'm supposed to be thinking. This could be learning something fun. All right. It doesn't have to be, oh, I have to learn this and I don't want to learn it. Learning can be fun. Let's find a new fun way to learn something. Okay. Taking leadership roles in the community, taking action, because Aries is our action. Taking action over our mind, so that we aren't feeding into the things that we consider matter. What is matter? Right? Eating too much food, having too much of this. Okay. It's the physical possessions that we have. That's the matter. I can touch this. This is matter. It's not an idea. It doesn't live in my mind, but putting the mind over the matter, like not feeding into those things that cause us to possibly escape. Okay. Releasing the stories that we tell ourselves around who we think we are, not just who we think we are to ourselves, but who we think we are to our other people. Please make sure that you are taking time for breath work. You can always look at things online for that, or walking out in nature and inhaling and exhaling. You don't have to walk fast in nature. We can walk slow. Okay, Aquarius can think fast, okay, and they can see the bigger picture into the future, okay, but we have to ground ourselves, because if we live too much in the future, we can't enjoy being in the physical body, okay, and it's such a beautiful gift to be in a physical body, right? Spending time in nature in order to balance our energy. I know I said that earlier, but I'm just reiterating it again. Learning something new, finding a new spiritual practice that you feel is resourceful to you. I mean, look at all these planets that you got here, all right? Anytime you have more than 3 planets or points in a given sign or house, that is what we call a stellium, and it's given a lot of energy to that. So you could find value in doing spiritual practices, and that could be a routine for you, because you've got the planet of action in the sign of Cancer, which is something that is emotional for us, and making a routine around an emotional spiritual practice that we have. And I'm not saying you got to do it every day, but you need to. If it was me, I'd probably be walking out in nature, and that is my spiritual practice. Okay, that helps me ground. That's me being active outside. And guess what? If I'm active outside and nobody's out there, I can cry. That could be a good way for you to release your energy. Listening to any type of self-empowerment mindset podcast could help you, because you got a bunch of planets here in the mind of Gemini, but not just living in the mind, okay? Actually putting in these things into action. Listening to music or sound frequency could be of help you balance your energy. If that resonates, great. Walking on the beach. If you have any trips planned to the beach, that could be definitely healing for you, because you have Mars and Cancer here in the sign. I mean, in our house of health. So walking on the beach, because Cancer is a water sign, and Mars is the planet of action. Being active in the water could help you, okay? And remember, it's okay to cry. You know, one of the things that I love to do, Aquarius, all right, I'll just be honest with you. The reason that I don't like working out in the gym anymore is because, you know, how comfortable is it to be crying while walking on the treadmill? It is not, okay? So I'd much rather walk outside in nature where nobody is around, and I can release some of these things that I'm possibly holding into. That would be great for you, okay, to do that. So if that resonates with you, okay, then make sure that you like this video and leave a comment below, Aquarius, so that you can let me know if this helped you or not. All right? And yeah, sending you much love, Aquarius. You are definitely going to be highlighted for the next 20 years. So we've got to get you healthy, okay? Because people are going to be looking to you for leadership roles because of the transformation that you have had, okay? All right, Aquarius. Next up is the Pisces. Now, Pisces, you're the one who is controlling all this. And you definitely are going to be highlighted for the next year and a half, okay? And Neptune is getting ready to go into a sign it does not like to be in, because Pisces likes to relax in the water and likes to just go with the flow. And, you know, sometimes we got to take action to the things that we want to do, okay? So you are having themes around Taurus right now for the next year, Pisces, with this eclipse. So valuing yourself and your worth, right? You are worth having good things, but what are you spending your money on? What are you spending your energy with? Is it something that is of value, or is it something that is making you be illusioned? Okay, be illusioned by not working on our dreams, or living too much in the Piscean things of the dream world and not putting the action into the things that we want out of our lives, okay? Taking active steps to heal your body naturally. So if something's wrong, like let's look at what we're eating. You know, why are we rushing off to the doctor whenever maybe we're eating something that we don't need to be eating that's making our guts sick, okay? So Virgo, you have this in the house of relationships. Okay. And so maybe you could be getting rid of a relationship that no longer serves you to something that maybe is impacting your health. So taking a look at that. What is it? How much time are you spending in front of the television? How much time are you spending doing activity? How much time are you spending eating things that probably are not good for you that might be causing you sick, being sick, okay? You could have opportunities to have new beginnings with things that you value. Like, I do value my health now. I've never valued it before, but I value it now, and I'm going to take active steps to do it. There could be new ways of making money coming into your life, possible with an Aries person. But these things are going to be fun and fulfilling to you because you got the moon there, which is our emotions. Okay. And so doing something that is fulfilling to you, that helps you transform your resources, but you're doing it in a healing way. You're letting go of things which prevent you from moving from the past. Okay. That is going to be a theme for you. Working through letting go of things that maybe keep you in the past would be very good for you. Putting action to your dreams, not just daydreaming about the things that we want, but what are we doing? You could have some shocks and surprises of things leaving your life that are not in alignment for you, because you do have the, Uranus in the sign it does not like to be in Taurus, and it is making a sextile to you. And it's also making a sextile to Mars. So Mars is quick energy, okay? And you've also got, this rebirth of maybe some subconscious patterns that you have, all right? So there could be some shocks and surprises about, oh, I didn't really know I was holding on to this much. I feel so much better since that left, or something left your life so something new can come in, okay? So just try to watch out for that, because whatever's leaving is not in alignment for you. Watch out for escapism, because you feel like there's too much work to do, because if you find that happening, Uranus could be here, okay, to slap you around to say, no, we're going to be doing this instead, okay? Making time for a spiritual practice in the morning probably would be best for you. Look at all these planets that you have in your sign. You control spirituality, right? You control dreams. You control music. You control illusions, but we don't want to be illusioned out of what it is that we're trying to dream up and take action with, right? So getting that in the morning, as soon as you wake up, like maybe thanking God for all the things that you have, or maybe making a list. God, what do you want me to do today? All right. And then you going along with that. Okay. And creating time for any type of spiritual practice that is going to allow you to enhance your gifts. Pisces, you are the most spiritual sign in the zodiac. Okay. You have more intuition than anybody. So, it's a good idea for you to be working on that. Not just going and trying to help all these people, right? Because you feel like, well, that's how I show love. We got to show love to ourselves. We have to show gratitude to ourselves. We have to show, thankfulness for all the things and the blessings that we have in our lives, right? That's a good way to start your routine, okay? Because then that's going to allow more abundance to come into our life when we start our day with gratitude. All right. All right, everybody. If you got something out of this, make sure that you message me at 9livesenergy@gmail.com, or you can like this video or look at the link below. It has all my information there, in my link tree about how to get in contact with me and make an appointment. Astrology has changed my life over the last 2.5 years. And, I look at all these, people, my astrology teacher, especially, some of these people have been practicing for 12 years, 13 years, 30 years, that I'm learning from. And even though I've been only going at it for, 2.5 years, anytime you spend 2 years doing something, you are a master, because that's how long it took me to get my master's degree, was 1.5 years. So I've been doing this for a year longer than I took to get my master's. So not only have I been studying this stuff day in and day out every single day, all right, since 2023, But I've also been personally going through some of these transits because of what's been going on with the eclipses, and it's been in my sign. So I've gone through the transformation of losing the old identity where everybody looked at me as this fitness enthusiast and I'm going to lead all these classes and stuff. And you know what, that brought me a lot of happiness, and I have some great memories from that. But you know, I'm stepping into being somebody new. And so if this resonates with you and you want to learn how to read your birth chart, because it has helped me so much, and I want to be able to help others be able to do the same thing and, you know, get you back into alignment. I know what it's like to be out of alignment, and it's not fun. But once you start getting on the road to recovery, then life just gets a little bit more magical. So thanks so much, everybody. And I hope that you got something out of this. And if you did, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and that you like this video and comment below if you got something out of it. And thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Oh, I see you, all things unexplained. That was like an hour ago when you just wrote that. I'm still learning how to use StreamYard and some of these technological tools, but I'm stepping out there, green or not green, for what is coming into my life next. Thanks so much, everybody. I hope you have a magical evening and you stay sweet.